Welcome everyone, how are you? Thank you for joining me today. I just want to pop on live because I get the Education Week newspaper, and this week, Education Week explains critical race theory and why it's under attack. And again, they get it wrong. I hate getting the paper because it just infuriates me on how they indoctrinate and try to mislead ignorant teachers and people in the education field. Number one, critical race theory. One problem I see in critical race theory, and one problem I see in many of the Christian doctrines that are not Catholic, is the fact that this country was the 13 colonies were 99% Protestant and 1% Catholic. If it wasn't for our Bishop Carroll, who was instrumental in adding religious freedom to the Constitution, Catholics were heavily discriminated against because the King of England was bitterly turning Protestants against Catholics. The hatred against Catholics in England was huge. So huge that Queen Mary was beheaded by the Queen of England. So Queen Mary was a Scottish queen, and her cousin beheaded her because she was afraid of Mary. Mary was a sweet lady. And if you don't know who Queen Mary was, and the cousin of the Queen of England, you should go read up in your history books, because Catholicism England was full of hatred for anyone who practiced the Catholic faith. And this critical race theory is so wrong because it doesn't even explain the truth of history, which Catholics were being double taxed, and also Catholics weren't allowed to worship. So religious freedom and double taxation were at the front of the Revolutionary War. People got tired of it, and that's why they said, we're going to dump tea off the Boston Harbor, and they dressed up as Indians as well. The king labeled the Indians savages and also pagan England. Not pagan, they were labeling them Catholic Indians, know-nothings. So the Indians had two things against them in the French-British War. Remember, France, and despite the fact that France was Catholic and donated money to the revolution, to fund the Revolutionary War, is huge too, and it was because of Bishop Carroll's influence in our founding fathers, in our nation. He was the only Catholic bishop. There weren't a lot of Catholics who were rich. Very few Catholics were rich and wealthy, and he was one of the wealthy Catholics who was very influential during that time. So this